All right, welcome everyone to the EOS Fireside Chats. I'm your host, Stephane. This is my trusty soundboard with a bunch of cool sound effects. And yeah, we got a good show for you lined up today. Thanks for everyone who's joining us in Discord, where we have these shows, of course, live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Discord. If you want to join the voice chat, that's happening on Discord. If you want to just listen in, you can also do that on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook. We're broadcasting live to all those platforms as well. For those of us that are here with us on Discord, I'm going to remind you about the voice chat that is in the new feature that you can join by clicking in the top right corner of the voice chat. That's where we'll be text chatting during the show. And of course, there's also the PopBot chat, which is a channel that you can go to claim your pop token for the day. Jesse coming in. Jesse wants those hashtag EOS and $ EOS tags in his tweets for him and his bees to be able to swarm these great events. That's great to hear. Before we get into that, gonna go over the agenda real quick. So of course, Pomelo season 3 opened this week. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking with Jesse about the bees and the new swarm feature they've activated this week that has propelled EOS to the top of the influencer charts on Twitter anyways. We've got Yves with a bunch of other fire tweets about the new EOS that we'll go over today. The ENF also released the quarterly report. There's also a partnership announcement with Zaisan. And we'll also be talking with Lars about his Fractal fiction proposal for his Zine that's funded by Pomelo. We'll give a quick happy birthday to Wax, another very popular EOSIO chain. Helios came out with a Q2 report, and Atomic Hub had some slight improvements to their UI. So before we get into all these topics, just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Quick reminder, we love it when you join our chat. We love it when you come on the audio. If you just want to say hi to the community, ask a question, share a comment, share how you're feeling, we absolutely love that. Please remember to state your name as you jump on to this fireside chat. It's going to be very helpful for people that are potentially just listening to the audio, not necessarily actively watching the Discord chat. It's going to be particularly helpful for people that are watching the recordings afterwards, etc. And we're also going to be uploading these fireside chats along with a lot of the highlight clips we create from these chats onto the Everything EOS podcast channel that Zack was running back in the day. We're gonna activate it again, and really spread the message about the new EOS as far and wide as possible. And this actually, Martin on our team gave us this feedback that he likes to listen to these highlight clips on mobile and on YouTube. That forces you to stay on that page, right? You can't minimize YouTube on mobile to listen to the clips. So, we figured reactivating that podcast would probably be a good idea for those of you who just want to listen in to the audio, either, the 2-hour fireside, you could listen on your favorite podcast app, or maybe just the highlight clips every week while you're working out or doing dishes or whatever it is you do when you listen to podcasts. So just wanted to, remind you guys to let everyone know who you are when you jump on stage. Another kind of Discord related news that I wasn't aware of until just recently is that CoinMarketCap is finally linking the Discord server instead of the Telegram chat. So this is something that we've been working towards for a while. And because of that, we've seen a nice uptick in users joining this EOS server. So really, really, like, the metrics are through the roof. Of course, this has been the best week for sure, best performing week for sure ever, or I think it's been live for 2 weeks now, something like that. Anyway, so there's going to be a lot of new members in this EOS Discord server, which is great. So for those of us who are active in the general chat, maybe you'll see some newbies in there asking some questions. So don't be surprised. Obviously, we've got Dario and a few of the other moderators that are very active in this chat, always answering questions. That's great. Of course, the EOS support crew that Dario's on have also been doing a great job, welcoming new members either here in the Discord server or on Telegram if they find their way to Telegram, which is going to be fewer than before now that CoinMarketCap is finally updated to our Discord server. And finally, we updated the server image to something a little more fresh. All right, so I see many of you were joined the Pomelo Twitter Spaces event that we just hosted. So thanks for everyone who joined. If you didn't join, we recorded the show, so you can go to the @Pomelo Grant's Twitter account and check out the Twitter Spaces that just finished about 10 minutes ago. So this was kind of our kickoff event on Pomelo on Twitter Spaces, and we're going to be doing weekly shows there moving forward while season 3 of Pomelo is active. So the pitch sessions that we were hosting for season 2 during these Discord chats were very successful. I think people enjoyed hearing about the grants. People enjoyed being able to ask their questions. I know the grant creators really appreciated the platform and the opportunity to promote their grant to the EOS community, and many of the grant creators that promoted on these pitch sessions went on to having a successful fundraising round and shared some nice feedback. So we're definitely happy with how it went, and so this time around we want to make it even better, even bigger. So we've added more pitch sessions, and we're going to be hosting our pitch sessions on Twitter Spaces. So every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, so an hour before the Fireside chats, we'll be hosting pitch sessions with the Pomelo account on Twitter Spaces. So those of you who are interested in promoting your grant to the EOS community, that's going to be a great way to do it. You can do so by signing up to the pitch sessions through this form that I'm going to share in the voice chat here. You can also find that form in the description of the Pomelo Grant's Twitter account. So right at the top there, you can find that form. So definitely make sure to apply. So there's 5 different pitch sessions you can apply to this season, even more than last season. So we've got the weekly pitch sessions that I just mentioned that are going to be on Twitter Spaces. We have also a rapid fire Twitter Spaces pitch session that's going to be the last of this series, and that's going to make room for everyone who maybe didn't have, who are maybe not able to qualify, let's say, for the weekly pitch sessions, because these weekly pitch sessions will have 4 grants per session. So we've got a limited amount of grants, and there's definitely going to be more than that want to pitch their grant. So what we're going to do is we're going to host a rapid fire session at the end, allowing every grant owner that wants to pitch to be able to pitch in that show. I think that's going to be pretty exciting. I really enjoyed the rapid fire pitch sessions last season, and so I'm looking forward to those this season as well. GO EOS is coming back again with their pitch deck YouTube series, just like they did last season. So you can apply for those as well in the sign-up form. The GO EOS format is a bit longer than the pitch sessions, the Twitter Spaces pitch sessions. So you got 20 to 30 minutes really deep dive into the grant and into the owners that are going to public good. And then finally, we also have a Chinese pitch session and a Korean pitch session as well. So if you don't need to speak those languages to go and promote your grant on those pitch sessions. So those communities are looking forward to hearing from presenters, even if it's English only. I know the Chinese pitch sessions are going to be, there's going to be a translator there that's going to be present on the show, and they're going to be live translating your pitch. So even if you speak only English, that's fine. You can give your pitch. They're going to translate it, and then they're also going to translate the incoming questions, so that anyone who wants to can advertise to the Chinese community about their Pomelo grant. And then the Korean session is going to be similar. However, there's going to be less live translations, and so we're going to be asking English speakers that if they go on the Korean pitch session to kind of have their speech kind of written out and outlined, so that we can give that to the Korean team in advance, so that they can be well prepared to share the details of your grant to the Korean community. All right, so that's a little update on our pitch sessions. And of course, I want to remind everyone, grant applications are now open. So you can go to pomelo.io, click create a grant, and then create your grant and submit your grant for Pomelo Season 3. We've got $350,000 donated by the EOS Network Foundation as a matching pool that's going to be allocated among all the grants that have been approved as a public good, of course, based on the donations from the community. So, um, of course, we could talk a long time about Pomelo Season 3. I would encourage you, if you're new to Pomelo and you're not sure what it's all about, check out the Twitter spaces we just did. We kind of, me and Daniel here, the CEO of Pomelo, we kind of went through the platform, what's possible, what you need to do to be a grant creator, what you can expect as a donator, etc. So there's a lot of good information there, and encourage you to go listen to that if you're interested. All right, what else do we have? I mean, Daniel Keys has been kind of doing the rounds actually. Yesterday he was on Huobi Global Live, talking with Huobi about Pomelo crowdfunding platform. So, Daniel, if you're available, did you want to talk a bit about how that event went for you?
Cool. Yeah. It was a great opportunity to, I think, spread the word about Pomelo outside of our little EOS community bubble. Huobi Global has a large Twitter following. I think I saw their Twitter account, which was promoting the event, had over 1.1 million followers, broadcasting to their YouTube channel and right within the Huobi trading platform. Huobi's one of the biggest exchanges out there, for those not familiar. Yeah, we spent about half an hour chatting about Pomelo and the opportunity for those watching to come to the EOS community and create a grant and raise some funds for the project that you might be working on. So we had really good reception. The feedback was all very positive. Checking some of the comments in the tweets and on the YouTube, and yeah, it looks like we reached a nice wide audience, and it was well received.
Yeah, I think yeah, that was great. I watched most of it. I thought you did a great job representing the Pomelo platform and the new EOS. And yeah, hopefully we were able to attract some new community members through that. So those who are curious, I shared some links here to the Huobi tweet and to the host Michaela, who shared a nice clip of that show. So you can check that out if you're interested. I guess while we're on the topic of Pomelo, I see a Lars in the chat here promoting something called a fractal fiction. So I don't know, Lars, if you want to jump on here and share maybe a bit more about what that's all about.
Yeah, sure. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, coming in good.
Okay. Yeah, quick disclaimer too. I'm driving through the middle of Wisconsin just in case it does get a little choppy. I don't think it will, but just wanted to mention I'm on the road. So yeah, I was funded for Immutable Realms, which is a zine, like an EOS arts and culture zine, through Pomelo, through the community, and a grant from the ENF. So I'm in production on that, and one of the features that I want to include in the zine is a fractal fiction, and to the best of my knowledge, it's the first time this has been done anywhere. So it'll be using the Eden election process to basically write a creative short story. So I'm currently looking for about maybe another 8 volunteers that would be willing to sign up. I just dropped the link to the sign up form in the stream chat. And you don't have to be an Eden member for this. Preferably, I would like people to be at least have EOS accounts, because I'd like to pay people for their participation in this, just a small amount as like a token of gratitude.
Oh, sounds like we're losing Lars a bit.
Story. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Give it another shot. If not, maybe we'll try again in a few minutes. Not coming in. All right. I'm gonna mute you, Lars, and maybe we try back in a few minutes. But yeah, so very very cool concept from Lars. I don't want to kind of ruin it by misexplaining it. But sign up for the forum if you're interested in participating in the creation of this EOS Zine that was funded by Pomelo Season 2. You know, you don't need to be an artist or a creative to join necessarily. Lars let me know on the Pomelo stream there that, you know, it's fine if I signed up, even though if I'm not a very creative person, you know, I can still listen to some ideas and vote on what I think the direction should go. So I'll be signing up, and hopefully a few more of you sign up, and Lars gets to the 25 people target that he's aiming for to run this Fractal fiction. Okay, Lars, one more chance. If you want to say a little something more, got you unmuted here.
Hey, all right. Sorry about that.
Good.
Yeah, I'll make this quick. So yeah, basically we're taking the more or less 7 elements of a story, like setting, theme, genre, characters, plot, things like that. We're going to break those up into the first round of voting, and there'll be groups, like fractal groups, and each election will move the agreed upon, I guess you'd say, element of the story onto a second round, which will have a group of people that will more or less elect and vote into an outline for the main story. And then the final round, like more or less the chief delegates of the process, would be the actual writers. And then once that story is, put together, that'll be included in the first issue of Immutable Realms.
Very creative concept, and yeah, looking forward to see to participate and see how it plays out. And
Thanks a lot.
Looking forward for your grant Pomelo Season 3, I assume. You're going to be applying again? Has that decision been made?
That's a decision to be made, but because I don't really want to go asking for more money before I have, something concrete to show for the first round that was funded. But I'm confident that they'll both be out before the end of Season 3. So if that's the case, then I would be more basically probably trying to do a third. That was the point, to keep going with these.
Great. Yeah. No, this sounds reasonable. And like you mentioned, reporting on what you've accomplished from your Season 2 grant was actually one of the themes that came up a lot in the comments we received when we asked the community to share their feedback on Pomelo Season 2, is that they want to be able to check exactly what was promised and what has been done. So Daniel, I don't know if you want to jump in here real quickly and maybe share a bit about some of the work that the Pomelo team has been doing towards that feature. Looks like Daniel might not.
Yeah, happy to. Did you want me to talk about that feature in particular, or the whole list of? We got a whole bunch of new things coming for Season 3. I can address them all, or maybe we just start with this one.
Well, all right. Let's address them all. Let's not tease the community here with some nice.
I'll try to keep it short. And stay tuned. We're working on an article we'll be publishing with this all in more detail. So stay tuned for that. But the number one request we got in our feedback was donors wanted an easy way to track the progress of a grant before they donated to them again. So if it was a grant that participated in Season 1 and they're participating in Season 2, there was hesitation to donate to that grant in Season 2 if it wasn't easy for them to see that they actually delivered what they promised in Season 1. So there's a new field we've added to the grant application form for grant donors where they can actually provide that, hey, what's your update since last season? And it's nice and easy for all the donors to find it because it's its own specific spot rather than what we saw in Season 2. A lot of people were providing those updates, but some would provide at the top of the description, some in the middle, some at the bottom. So now that's an easy place to look. We've also updated the terms and conditions so that grant owner email addresses will be shared with, for now, the EOS Network Foundation. In the future, perhaps some alternative third party who will be reaching out to grant owners to check in on their status and verify that actually the updates they're giving actually are being delivered. So that is another big feature request. So stay tuned. For Season 3, we've just kind of laying the foundation for that. We now updated the privacy policy to allow us to share those email addresses. And in Season 4, we'll have that third party validated results that people can refer to. There was also a lot of feedback that our rules could use some clarification. We had some grants got disqualified in season 2. Some of them because they were, it was just malicious. Others, it was honest mistakes. Someone breaking the rules, not knowing that they were breaking the rules because they didn't know that it was a rule. So we've explained the rules in more plain language now, right on the application form. So it's, pretty hard to miss. Hopefully that will help make sure everyone is on the same page and they can avoid getting disqualified by accident. We've got a brand new updated wiki, which goes again over those rules in nice plain language. Also has summaries of every season, FAQs, glossary of terms, all that sort of stuff to help clarify things. We removed some, we clarified the rules on self-donations. So actually you are allowed to donate to your own application. Our terms and conditions previously said that you're not. So we just removed that from the terms and conditions. Now everyone is on the same page there. And we've been releasing some educational articles, like what is a public good, that goes deep into public goods, so it's easier for grant owners to get approved. One thing I'm really excited for, this is for the first time, Pomelo is going to be paying for user CPU. A big goal for season 3 is we've been increasing participation every season. We want to increase even more participation. We saw that some donors dropped off in our user flow because, they tried to make a donation, but they didn't have any resources and their donation failed. And maybe they're new to EOS, they're not familiar with EOS resource model. So they just gave up, and that they didn't end up having any impact on the matching pool. That shouldn't be the case in season 3 because now Pomelo is paying for everybody's resources. You shouldn't notice anything. You can make a donation. It should just work. And we've introduced some donor and grant owner achievements to help kind of spur a little bit more friendly competition. So if you were a top donor or a top grant owner in a previous season, your profile should have your NFT that you earned displayed proudly on there. You can flex your your participation level in previous seasons. And we've improved the experience for grant owners on the application form and their abilities to share their grant. There's a new short description field to very shortly summarize your grant, which displays on the main page in Pomelo on the little card, as well as on the social preview. So if you share your grant link on something like Twitter or Discord, that short description is actually going to be included in the link preview, along with the title and the image, which we're already previously showing. So that description is a new addition. Again, just make it easier for you to share and get more community support for your grant. And new pitch sessions on Twitter. I think Steph did a good job already covering that at the start. And then finally, another big theme we saw in our season 2 feedback was an opportunity to improve Pomelo's defenses. The big one was we introduced trust bonus in season 2, but we didn't get a whole lot of adoption of the trust bonus. So in season 3, we're putting an effort into really promoting that trust bonus a little more, and we've made some tweaks to the UI to help guide users to know that this opportunity exists, boost your trust bonus, help prove your uniqueness, and make the impact of your donation go even further. The higher you boost your trust bonus, the more that your donation counts, and as a result, there's a higher matching allocation to the grants you support.
Question, if that's okay. I'm just curious about the self-donation bit, and is there like a limit to that? And the reason I ask is because if I'm maximize my trust bonus and then just give an obscenely large donation to myself, knowing I get it all back, does that risk drawing excessive funding from the matching pool? I understand there's like a diminishing return, but there still is a return.
There's a diminishing return. There's also a 10%. So 10% of whatever that donation you give would be taken and put into the next season's matching pool. But we don't have any limits set on that. It is a good question. We're going to see what happens. The other thing you'll have to keep in mind is community. How does the community respond to that sort of behavior? So again, with the quadratic nature of Pomelo, you're getting more people donating to you is more impactful than having one large donation. If people get upset that, oh, wait a second, this person is kind of gaming the system by doing a large self-donation, that might detract from the amount of donors you get. But we're going to have to see. Right now, we don't have any rule in place to limit that. We do have one thing I forgot to mention, though. Another new thing coming for season 2 is there's a cap on how much of the matching pool you can get. So it's a 10% cap. No one grant can earn more than 10% of the total matching pool. So there's diminishing returns on the fact that it's quadratic, and then there's also a max based on that.
Perfect. I think that solves the problem there right there by just having a max that someone could get. So awesome.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for the question.
All right. Anyone else want to maybe share some thoughts on Pomelo before we move on to another topic?
Hey, this is Nathan. I actually have a request. I would love to do some videos with you guys for the new developer portal related to getting Pomelo grants up and properly defined by the rules.
I would be happy to participate. Thanks. Let's get in touch offline and set something up.
Let's do it.
So that was NS James, lead developer relations for the ENF. For those of you who missed that, great. Okay, cool. So moving on, another topic that I'm pretty excited about: the EOS Bees with their swarms all over Twitter. So Jesse actually reached out to me last week asking if Pomelo was going to do a nice tweet, that they could swarm, and then so we on Monday morning published a nice tweet thread that kind of goes over the whole process of joining Pomelo and the important aspects to know about that. And then Jesse and the Bees unleashed the swarm on it, and it's been our most highly engaged tweet by a lot on the Pomelo Twitter account. So that was really great to see. Jesse, if you want to jump on in here and talk a bit more about this project, we'd love to hear it.
Thanks, Steph. Hey, everyone. Yeah, we were super excited to, last week, our swarms came out of alpha into beta where we can use real tokens. We can actually use it. And it's been really successful so far. We're really proud of the work. We worked so hard to build up the network and to build the actual technology. Really special thanks to Mark. He came out with the key insight to be able to actually execute our swarms. Mark Stair of Tipit. And yesterday was a great moment for us because we swarmed Yves' great thread on the ENF's quarterly report, and it got picked up by Lunar Crush. So that was really encouraging that we're on the right path, and it's only the beginning. We had 147 bees participate in that swarm, but what it does is we found, because we're collecting all this data, that it actually creates like free likes and retweets from that. And so we got a long way to go. I mean, it's a great moment, but we're still in a large sea of negativity, and we need to get a lot bigger. But we had a great week, and just confirms that we're doing the right thing here, and I'm just really proud of the team. And yeah, thanks, guys.
To double cheers for that. Yeah, seriously, guys, really great work. I love to see these new tools that are built on EOS and then really, funded by Pomelo, built for EOS and leveraged on Twitter. Absolutely beautiful to see.
Could I say one more thing? Actually, I was wondering about swarming the Fireside chat, and I know there's this is a very unique event. I feel like it's maybe the most interactive content that the EOS community comes out with. And I'm not sure if Trimbot or Waxa is a really good kind of marketing person. Do you mind, Steph, if we maybe talk about swarming the Fireside chat and what the community thinks about it?
Definitely never gonna say no to your swarms. Anytime you want to swarm or stuff, I can go for it. But yeah, to your point there, I know we need to include some hashtags and the money sign as well. Um, just to touch on the message you sent me there, the fireside chat is streamed on Twitter, but the title or the text inside that tweet, I'm not sure if it's custom or just automatically pulled. But that's definitely something we can be more mindful of in the future and really, you know, create these nice tweets for you guys to swarm. So definitely something we can talk more offline and make sure we're all ready to go for the future weeks.
Cool,
Absolutely.
cool.
How
Thanks.
many how many swarms are you guys deploying per week?
So we would like to get to the point where we're doing them every day. So this week we did it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We haven't done one today. I was trying to see if I can get a swarm on this fireside chat. I don't think it's going to happen this week, but yeah, we're trying to get it every day. At the very least, 3-4 times a week.
Awesome, awesome. Well, yeah, we're definitely, of course, open to working with you guys to make sure we're optimally set up to receive the benefits from these swarms. Really good stuff. And well, okay. How can people join the swarm if they're interested in contributing to these social media pushes?
Yeah, great question. On our Twitter account, the pinned post is the link to join our swarms. I will link it here in the chat. There is a Bywire article and a registration link that you can go to. The things you need to register are an EOS account and a video of your face. We're trying our best to verify unique humans. Learned a lot of lessons from Eden and the value of having unique humans in an organization. So we have a recording of the face, Twitter account, EOS account, and you'll go through our Telegram chatbot to sign up. And the amount of rewards you get depends on the strength of your Twitter profile. And we take who you're following, who follows you, and the engagement you receive relative to your followers. We take those three variables into account. And the stronger Twitter profile, the more earnings that we give per swarm.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. I joined the swarm last week. Kind of, I was just also curious. Of course, want to help. I want to help the EOS community, but also curious to see what kind of workflow you have to go through and stuff. So I submitted my video. I was approved, all that good stuff. And then I've set it up on Telegram. So I've got a Telegram bot that messages me when there's a new swarm with the link. And then you click that link, you retweet the tweet that's being swarmed, and then you'll accumulate some rewards. So obviously, the rewards may not be extremely high, but I think it's still very cool for anyone in the EOS community to participate in. You'll accumulate some rewards, but more importantly, you'll really be helping boost the profile and the exposure for EOS on Twitter. So, for example, there've been a few tweets this week about accounts that kind of monitor Twitter activity for all of the crypto space, and they picked up that EOS has seen a surge of activity. I don't know if someone has these tweets handy. I was looking for them there as the show started. But yeah, it's been really great to see. They've been shared in the community. I'm sure many of you guys have seen them. We'll share in the stream chat when we find them. Yeah, the EOS mentions has been off the charts ever since the Bees started their thing. So it's really good to see that it's actually working, and it's actually being picked up by large Twitter accounts in the crypto space, and definitely helping get more traction to the new EOS. So speaking of the new EOS and getting traction on Twitter, Yves has been continuing to put out some great tweets that have gotten some great engagement. Like Jesse mentioned, some of them have been chosen to be swarmed to boost that even more. So here I'm just gonna share a few of my favorites. if I can get Twitter to load. But of course, you guys know at Big Beard Samurai is Yves' Twitter account, so I definitely recommend you guys follow him and like and retweet his stuff. It's really good. It helps the EOS community. Oh, there we go. We got Jesse here that shared crypto trending post that aggregates the top 5 mentions in crypto, updated every 15 minutes, and we can see here, except Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we can see here EOS coming in at first place with 2.1 million points, and Solana coming in second place at 640,000. So that's over 3 times more, mentions and activity for EOS than Solana for yesterday, or I'm not sure exactly which time period. But really great to see, and really proof that these swarms are working. So definitely, if you're interested, join up in the swarm. Very cool product that was built by the Bees and by Mark from Tipit. Mark, I don't know if you want to come on here and share a little bit about your experience building Tipit, and then helping out the Bees. I had server muted you earlier. Your mic was on, but should be good to go now if you want to.
Hi, yeah, it's been really great working with Jesse. He's got a really cool vision on doing things differently, sort of like in the advertising space and getting awareness and stuff. So it's been great working with him and delivering what he needs, using a lot of the tools that Tipit has built, including getting the grants from Pomelo and things like that to be able to realize that vision. So I'm really excited about how it's worked out and how we came together with like just a single response where you could go to Tipit page and then see all the payouts. Prevents us from getting flagged by Twitter with too many of the same responses on each type of tip and things like that. So thanks to everyone for the Pomelo pitch, and hopefully season 3 will continue that, and or we will continue that, but hopefully we get some good love from the community.
I would, if there were prediction markets for Pomelo Grant success, I'd be betting on some good success for the Bees this round for sure.
Really I have a question about the Bees.
Yeah, go for it.
So from the other side of things, how are tweets selected to be promoted by the Bees?
Hey Nathan, yeah, it's a good question. We're currently using mostly subjective criteria to determine what tweets to swarm. Our only objective criteria is that it's got to have hashtag EOS or money sign EOS in that, because that allows it to be picked up by these crypto listening tools. At least at our kind of current, very nascent EOS marketing stage, the tweets to swarm are pretty obvious, but as we scale, they will be less obvious. So we've had some ideas in the future for the community to vote on which tweets we swarm. Now, it is a little difficult to do that because, like, for example, when Yves tweeted yesterday, we didn't know that he was going to tweet. So we have to just, we see it? Okay, we got to swarm now. And so for example, when I worked with Steph, we planned it. We planned it a few days in advance. So if we can plan some tweets and have some sort of mechanism where community members can vote on what to swarm, I think that's really interesting. But for now, it's very just whatever. So the main B team, there's 6 of us on the core team, and we just agree on what to swarm for now. But for later, perhaps something better.
Gotcha. Thanks.
I think another idea that we came up with, we haven't implemented this yet, but is sponsored swarms. If any other tokens in the community, because Tipit supports 70 different tokens. For example, if Void wanted to sponsor a swarm, then maybe we could do things like that as well. It's up to Jesse, of course, but just some ideas we've had. getting other kinds of funding, maybe getting some awareness of other kinds of tokens within the EOS community might be useful.
So I'm really looking at this from, I have some body experience, so I'm looking at this from a technical perspective. I'm wondering when you cross the threshold on Twitter of their terms of service, that this becomes too broad for them to accept it as a marketing technique, and then it becomes some kind of spam within their filters or anything like that.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
The first step that is the one that I mentioned earlier is previously we have been flagged by Twitter before with excessive responses. Now we just have one response per swarm that anyone can see, and that's going to definitely reduce that. You know, it's an interesting question, James. That or Nathan. Advertising is even worse. Pushing in your face and things like that. So there's a sort of a thing that at least this is real humans, not bots. I think that's really important going in the future. It's people that believe in what they're promoting, rather than just bots getting paid for doing that. Yeah.
So this question of how does the Bees choose which tweets to promote is actually central. The Pomelo team is actually I just reviewed the grant that the Bees submitted, and it came up in a debate on my team. Is this a public good? Is it actually non-excludable? How obviously we can only the grant is to raise a pool of funds to reward these swarms, if I understand it correctly. So obviously there's only a certain amount of tweets that will be able to get swarmed. Is that excludable? Or perhaps the public good isn't the promoting of a specific tweet, but it's the amplification, so everyone can see those tweets, so they're more likely to see a tweet that has been promoted. So maybe that's a public good. Be curious to hear the perspective of the folks on this call, because public goods aren't always so black and white. This is one of the ones that was sort of following in our gray area, where we were having this discussion on our team on does this qualify as a public good?
Thanks so much for that feedback, Daniel. I tried to write the grant to emphasize the amplification and promotion part. Just as a content creator can create content and get it out there, anyone can view that content. We are trying to make it so the content could be viewed. What we're doing is just amplifying the content to be viewed by anyone. And that's what I tried to highlight in the grant, but I certainly accept feedback if anyone has any ideas to write it differently.
Yeah, I think you did a pretty good job there. That's where we ended up landing on. Yeah, I think this probably does qualify, but I could see it being, one of the ones that raises some questions on, wait, is this public good or not? So that's why I put it out there to hear feedback from the community. But
I think it follows. I think it follows also the public good of Tipit, and the whole purpose of Tipit was to get as many people involved in cryptocurrency blockchain as possible. And because of the speed of EOS, it's the only one that can meet the criteria of a quick response. If we got everyone in the world could have a Tipit wallet in easily, and then move that into their EOS wallet when they're familiar with how to get a wallet and things like that. If that's the case, and if on the B side anyone can join, it's absolutely a public good. I see no issue at that in terms of the whole mechanism that's in place right now.
Good stuff. So I guess if projects are interested in getting swarmed, reach out to Jesse, and organize a schedule and let them know ahead of time to maximize the impact that these swarms can have. All right, anyone else want to jump in here, share some thoughts about the swarms, or if you've joined the swarm, or if you plan on joining it? I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yes, it's Patrick Nova Crypto here. So I have just joined the EOS Swarms on last Friday, and I was receiving Electro Bee NFT. So I am in, and I want just to tell you here that I see that definitely as a public good, because when Jesse is currently, yes, he is choosing which influencer he want to reach out. So he decide a little bit the narrative to be sure. Then us as swarms, we can jump into these tweets, and we receive some EOS into our Tipit.io and some NFTs. That's cool. And I think how it is currently, because that will evolve, then we will maybe in position to have a vote to decide maybe which influencer should be reached. But at the moment, as I see that, on my view, it's definitely for me a good public good, and also that incentivize the people to go into the Discord of EOS Bees Discord server, and then you can join the Swarms channel and do your stuff, do your job to deserve some rewards into your Tipit.io. Because if you do nothing, it's clear that you will have a 0.02 EOS or something like that. So you have to collaborate, you have to do your stuff, to do something, to participate into the chain, into the flow of those tweets. And yes, I am very grateful for this EOS Swarms, Tipit.io by Mark Steers, and myself with MindWeb.io on season 3, Pomelo season 3. I have just updated my grant, my rant on Pomelo for season 3, MindWeb.io, and I have directly decided to give some funds, let's say some EOS for EOS Swarms, and also doing a mind map to map out the Notion website of Jesse. All the links of the EOS Bees are into this mind map to navigate better. And also I will have into this mind map, that's the plan. It's to have a follow-up of the tweets of the swarms. It's not just a mind map to map out the links of a website. That's more than that. That's very an influencer mind map. We can name it like that. For the moment, it is named EOS Swarms mind map, EOS Bees mind map. So I have decided to jump into that because I see a lot of potential for the marketing, and by Jesse, by the EOS Bees, and now the EOS Swarms that's come into live. And shout out to Jesse for that, and good luck on Pomelo. I think we should collaborate at the most on Pomelo. Pomelo is not just to have a project on Pomelo and raise funds by the donator, that I am very grateful, but it's also to find collaboration with other grant owners and collaborate with them. So just I want to raise that and shout out to all of you that are contributing into EOS Bees and growing the marketing, because we need to be known. We have to go out of our box.
All right, yeah, thanks Patrick for jumping on the Fireside with us and sharing your thoughts on the bees and on Pomelo. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the evolution of your mind maps. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
hey, and
growing fast.
it's Felix here. I wanted to add some extra support too for the Swarm technology. I think it's an awesome public good. I just became part of the EOS Bees as well, and I think it's super awesome because everyone here, if you're attending these meetings, I definitely encourage you guys to come be a part of the Bees and support, because not only are we getting behind um, tweets to help better expose EOS, but you also get to get paid now in a little bit of EOS for your contributions. So I think it's a sweet public good. And yeah, big shout out to Jesse for all the hard work, and Mark for this collaboration, and all this hard work and effort you guys put in these last couple months is in my eyes already starting to pay off. Like the potential here with this Swarm technology is amazing. And so yeah, big shout out.
Thanks.
It's a yeah, baby. Go EOS Bees.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
And applause.
Can everybody hear me okay? I wanted to share something if it's all right.
Yeah, go for it, Ben.
Okay, cool. So my name's Ben. I'm on the Tipit team. I'm one of the developers who's been developing the Bees technology, the earnings engine. And one of the things I think that does make it a public good is the fact that there's transparency. So on the Twitter level, if we were just kind of paying people, right, it might be a little bit different, but we're putting basically a public notice of what we're doing that links to the payout. And I think that kind of qualifies it as a public good because everything's transparent. And I think it goes along with the ideology of EOS and the chain. So just wanted to share that.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for joining the Fireside. And yeah, thanks for all the great work you do on Tipit.
Yeah. And I just want to mention shout out to Ben and John. Also, they're the Tipit developers, and they do most of the work, and I just come up with ideas and things like that. I've been getting a lot of the credit, but it's really those guys.
We need a visionary. Come on, Mark.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for sharing and joining us today. Okay, moving on to some other topics. What do we have here? Yes, the quarterly report, the Q2 quarterly report from the ENF was published recently, and then Yves shared a great tweet here, kind of sharing the highlights of the report. So I'm gonna read through this tweet. I think it's really good. And it's going to allow everyone here to get an overview if you haven't had a chance to read that report. So this thread starts by saying that every 3 months the ENF releases a quarterly report, and here's the high-level summary. So the ENF established ENF USA and ENF Hong Kong for an international presence. They doubled the size of their core team with a focus on technical expertise, which has been obvious from all the new hires that we've seen announced. Speaking of, key hires include NS James and top technical talent poached from Bullish and Block One, which I'm sure we all love hearing about. They also hired a new CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. However, we don't know who that is yet, so still looking forward to for that full reveal. Is the CMO in the room? Yeah, we don't know. Joe Louis asking in the chat here. So of course this is the new, so EOS marketing updates. We got the new Chief Marketing Officer. The ENF is title sponsor of the token 2049 in September. This includes a keynote from Yves and also a public demo of the Trust EVM. So that's going to be a really blockbuster event for the EOS community. Strategic business development partnership with Zaisan Global. So that's another topic we'll be mentioning a bit later on here in the show. Of course, the ENF has been funding a lot of working groups. These groups are more than academic research, as the groups are focused on product delivery based on their research. Related to that, the ENF has allocated $1 million in funding for the API Plus working group. And the goal of that is to make EOS the easiest chain for developers. definitely check out the tweet here that I linked if you want more information on this. There's a bunch of linked tweets within this tweet. Nice comprehensive thread. Moving on with DeFi on EOS. So Yield Plus liquidity incentive program has been kind of announced, and it has the goal of increasing TVL on both EOS and Trust EVM. Also, Recover Plus is also in the works, which works in tandem with Yield Plus to provide a crisis management framework for EOS. And he wraps up the tweet saying that DeFi 3.0 will have an insurance layer and it will be built on EOS. Regarding the EOSIO coalition, the coalition has led to significant cost savings for EOS in order to develop the underlying EOSIO codebase, plus a higher quality of talent pool applying for these updates. The coalition has identified 22 priority items, with one being faster finality and IBC. This makes EOSIO chains a massive blockchain with EOS as the main net, which is kind of something that I've always imagined EOS and EOSIO becoming from all the way back in 2018. EOSIO improvements plus rebrand. So EOSIO will be rebranded. The new branding will be rolled out early Q3 with the consensus upgrade coming up in September. That will deploy some new code on the network. Coalition has been working on scalability plus Blue Paper to improve horizontal, vertical, and operational scaling. And GitHub is exploding. So you can see the GitHub progress here in a very nice image that he shared that I will share with you guys in the stream chat. Regarding EOS EVM updates, of course, there's going to be the demo at Token 2049, like mentioned previously. It's now live on testnet with the mainnet launch for late Q3, and there's strategic partnerships being developed so that it launches with a full product suite: wallet, bridges, DEX, block explorer, etc. And finally, some funding updates. Over 7 million has been invested in Q2 to improve the EOS ecosystem. Pomelo Grants, community-based funding that we talked about earlier today, and the direct grant frameworks as well have been successful. So there's been a lot of funding mechanisms that have finally been unlocked for all the builders in EOS and to attract new ones. And they also confirmed that ENF Ventures is going to be launching later this year. So EOS is open for business for everyone inside the community and outside that wants to join. And finally, they share some information about the Q3 and Q4 roadmap. So the last few quarters have focused on putting the wheels in motion to set up EOS for success. The Q3, Q4 roadmaps are very exciting, and we'll be hearing more about details of this roadmap in the coming days and weeks. So that's kind of a nice recap from this tweet thread. I thought it was really great, breaking down the very nice Q2 report, which looks really great as well. So if you want to take a look at that, you can find that in the link shared in the chat. All right. I see you guys are having fun with polls in here. We're still, playing around with the voice chat functionalities. Okay, so moving on to the partnership with Zaisan. So is someone from that team with us today that could speak to this partnership in better with more context than I could? Not sure if we have someone on, which is too bad. But real quickly,
I can talk about it.
Okay.
So we've been I believe the contract is under negotiation for a couple of weeks, and it just got finalized 3 weeks ago or so. So what they'll be doing is they'll be aligning. So we've been meeting. So as far as like the CMO, she's already begun. The only reason we're not making an announcement is because just being mindful to her previous commitments. So she did leave another project to join ours, and it's just kind of keeping the peace. But she's already engaged with the Zaisan team. So am I. So is Yves. So is Ted. few other people. Essentially, we're aligning marketing strategies with Zaisan. They've got experience in enterprise and kind of doing this already. So they'll be aligned with the strategy of the ENF. We'll be working with them for sponsorships of like running exhibits and things like that. So they have boots on the ground in Europe. That's their superpower. Is Zaisan is essentially like, you guys may remember them as Europe Chain, which was one of the things that they've been doing for a couple of years. It's a collaboration of multiple block producers, and they're all spread out throughout Europe. So there's some in Ireland, some in Portugal, some in Amsterdam. So they have people everywhere, and we want to give EOS a presence everywhere. EOS has not had a presence at conferences ever, not since the EOS ICO when Block One was selling their tokens, essentially. So the best way to have a presence in each geographic area is to have kind of a boots on the ground team. And Zaisan was perfectly positioned to do that. They also have a deep understanding of the underlying technology of EOSIO to be able to explain it to developers, for example. And we're in the early planning stages of, not even early at this point, but kind of targeting which events to attend. So they'll be attending all of them, but which ones to kind of go big on. So for example, like with Token 24, we went with the title sponsorship. It doesn't make sense to do that for every single conference. You're not going to get a great ROI on that. So some conferences might just be like an exhibit as like a gold or a silver sponsor. Some of them might be a title sponsor. Some of them might include a keynote speaker. If we get the keynote spot, who takes it? If Yves can't attend the event because it's a long trip to Europe for a 20-minute slot, then who would take that keynote spot? If we get a keynote spot and a panel spot, who would take those? And basically just ensuring that we have a presence at every single major blockchain and tech conference throughout Europe and the Middle East. The big one in the Middle East is Dubai. So there's a few events on the calendar in Dubai. So one I think is, I just tweeted about it a minute ago, the World Blockchain Summit in Dubai. So we'll be there. Cologne, I don't have them in front of me. We just kind of chose 4 of the really big ones today that we'll be going big on. I think within the next, I don't want to make a huge commitment, but within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think we'd be comfortable publishing a calendar that includes all of the different events that we'll have a presence at. But if you look at a events calendar of European events, it's pretty much all of them. But we'll publish that formally within the next couple of weeks, just so that everyone can be in the loop. We want to eventually get to the point where we could run successful satellite events also. So not just having the presence at the conference, but a lot of times if you go to these conferences, every evening is jam-packed with multiple satellite events that people attend. Even people like, I went to Consensus one year and didn't even have a ticket to Consensus, for example. I was able to fill my time just going to satellite events. So being in a position to run those satellite events, and that is also going to eventually tie in with, for example, the EOSI coalition. So we've now formed all of these relationships with all of these other chains, so that if we did decide to do a satellite event, we could have a much bigger presence, because then rather just being EOS there, we'd have all 4 of the chains, and hopefully more chains will eventually join the coalition. So that's kind of the idea. And also getting, so the initial focus is on Web3. So that's why there's 2 pieces to it. There's like big tech also. So beyond just focusing on like the blockchain crowd, there's also focusing on like the wider audience, the untapped audience. So that's kind of the more longer term goal, with the initial focus of going in heavy on the Web3 conferences, but also having a presence at the big tech conferences also. But not necessarily, like, we got to walk before we could run. but that's basically the strategy. So they run all of the logistics. We align on marketing, make sure like their printed and video materials are all in alignment, and then it allows the ENF to, if we want to, we can go to these events. We don't have to worry about the planning and logistics and interfacing with the conferences themselves to ensure that we could have a presence there. So then we could have a presence everywhere and then pick and choose who from the ENF or who from the EOS community should also attend. So, for example, like Yves isn't able to go to all 20 or however many events there will be in Europe per year, then deciding like, okay, if he can't go, should I go, or should the new CMO go, or should someone else go? So that's what is really beneficial, is that they're going to handle all of the logistics and all of the lead funneling and biz dev. And because we have so many different like pillars, there's a lot to actually talk about when you're at these events, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So, for example, going to the Blockchain Futurist Conference in, I think it's 2.5 weeks now in Toronto, is there's so many things to talk about, because if you want to get involved with EOS, it's like, okay, you could just buy tokens and chill. But if you want to build on EOS or contribute to EOS, we have Pomelo, we have Eden, we have the direct grant framework. We have all of these different things that we can point people to that they can get involved, and there's a clear path. Because what we're trying to do is kind of do the opposite of what we saw over the last few years, where like EOS VC was kind of the only thing, and they would kind of drag people along. You didn't know where to go. So the idea with the pillars we have with Pomelo, with Eden, and with the direct grant framework, is there's a clear path. If you want to build on EOS or contribute to EOS, there's a very clear path. It's crystal clear. You go here, and there's instructions, or there's seasons to it, and that's going to be very powerful. Being at these different events, is there's a call to action. There's an immediate call to action. So those are some of the KPIs. Are going to be proposals on Pomelo, applications to the grant framework, making the introductions. So Zaisan, for example, after every conference, they'll have a debrief with us. If we're not able to attend, like a full report, who they met, who we should, who they can make introductions to, setting up those introductory calls. So things like that, because that's something that EOS has lacked over the last few years, is making those connections with other ecosystems, other projects, other builders, other founders, other VC funds, things like that. So I'm really excited. It really helps us scale very quickly, because if we wanted to do it ourselves, it wouldn't be realistic to do it at the same scale or level of expertise that they'll be able to do it at.
Feels really good
Yeah,
to
baby.
see all these EOSIO chains be one big happy family, like I imagined it would have been from the start 4.5 years ago. So that's great. Things are lining up for the new EOS and the inevitable comeback, like Yves has been tweeting about. So really good work, and looking forward to seeing more updates on that topic.
I just want to say a big shout out to Zack, to Yves Larose, to all the team of ENF for all the big work that you are doing. And yes, September 23rd, 24th, and October, and this conference with Zack.
We lost you there, Patrick, but thanks for that hype, and definitely shout out to everyone at the ENF. They've been doing great work. It's been great to see. Anyone here planning on going to the conference in September? Let us know in the chat if you're going. I see. Also, Daniel is asking if people are going to the Futurist conference in Toronto coming up in about 1 month, I believe. We see Rob Rigo from EOS Detroit saying that he will be there. Looking forward to meeting Daniel again. That's great. We got Crabber sharing that Loyal9 as well will be there. Chris Barnes showing up to be there. Phil Mesner will be in Toronto. Felix here saying he'd like to make it out to Singapore. Daniel been missing these EOS meetups that he used to host all the time in Toronto back in the days where hosting meetups was fun and stress-free. Mark wants to swarm the conference itself. Love it, guys. Love it.
So I have the list in front of me. Don't make a little clip of this because we'll publish it in a few weeks. But the definites are going to be Blockchain Expo Europe in Amsterdam, September 20th and 21st. Web3 Vision in Cologne, Germany, September 21st and 22nd. DeFi Conference, October 6th in Ireland. Future Blockchain Summit in Dubai, October 10th to 13th. Where's the other one that are for sure yeses? Web Summit 2022. That's a giant tech conference. It's not even just blockchain. That's in Lisbon, Portugal. The WoW Summit. That's the Web3 component of that. That's also in Lisbon, Portugal. Also Token 2049 in London. That's November 9th and 10th. There's a bunch of other ones that there will be a presence, but we're just trying to decide how big of one. But all of those ones I mentioned, at minimum, there will be a booth. At best, a giant booth and keynote speakers and panelists and things like that. But yeah, those ones are pretty much for sures. And yeah, we're not doing any sponsorships or anything, but we have another executive meeting. That's why everyone's going to be in Toronto, is bringing everyone together again to continue the long-term, short-term, the strategy of EOS. That was pretty much the reason why Ted, myself, and Yves got together last week and spent 2 or 3 days just hammering out the direction we're going. It wasn't enough time, and we didn't have our CMO there, so that's going to be the difference in Toronto. Our CMO will be there, so you guys will all know who she is by then. And if you're in Toronto, you'll get to meet her. And also one other person also who isn't with the ENF, but is very important for the future strategy.
Checking the chat here, we've got Loyal9 saying Telos will have a presence. Are you talking about the Futures Conference in Toronto or the Token 2049 in Singapore? Mel from EOS London sharing that he'll be at any event located in the UK. That's great. Yeah, so Loyal9 is confirming that's Futurist, so we'll have some Telos people there, which is good to see. Chris Barnes is going to be in Toronto as well. Mel saying he maybe wants to do Amsterdam as well. Jan Schiffer is going to be in Cologne and maybe Amsterdam too. Yeah, this is really great to see that finally EOS will have a crew representing, or EOS and EOSIO.
Cannot wait to meet people in person. Like, I feel like it's been forever. 2018 with the hackathons, and then 2019 there were a bunch of events. Then COVID hit, and now we're finally all able to get out of our houses and meet in person again. Can't wait.
Yeah, should be really cool. And then there's more conferences, I'm sure, that will be announced between now and then.
Well, North America too, so we're just going to do that ourselves internally with the ENF. So we'll also be announcing all of that. We're working with the new CMO and developing that strategy also in parallel with Zaisan, because as we're coming up with the messaging and KPIs for them, we're essentially doing the same thing for ourselves. But the next big one in the US is the Masari mainnet, but it just happens to be like way too close to Token 2049. So we got to assess the calendar and see which ones make sense there. But I was really bummed out about that because that was a really good one last year.
CAC here is requesting some events in Florida, which he could attend. He'd like to attend. That's great to see. All right, yeah. I myself, I cannot attend the Toronto conference, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to maybe make some plans to attend the one after that. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing everyone in the community again. back in 2018, I was doing a ton of meetups, EOS meetups in Quebec. I met Dimitri from Bounty Block there at one of the first meetups I did in Quebec. I remember being very anxious about explaining EOS to this crypto meetup in Quebec, in Montreal. I even traveled to Calgary, to Vancouver, to Edmonton to host some EOS meetups out there as well. So yeah, definitely some good memories of meeting up in person, and looking forward to doing that again this year.
Nice.
I don't think it was an Yves tweet thread. I think we left it out for some reason. So as part of the Zaisan partnership, it also includes a partnership with Gartner. So I'm not really going to go into detail about what Gartner is, but it's like business insights, usually tech related, full suite consultancy and advisory. They do all kinds of different market research, and you could probably just Google them if you're not familiar. I'm way less familiar than I felt like a noob whenever I was introduced to this, but it's a really big deal. We've got 3 seats with Gartner now, and there's also a bunch of different exclusive conferences that only partners of Gartner are able to attend, but all of the partners are all pretty much all of the big tech companies, things like that. That's also part of it.
Sweet. So I'm not too sure what thread you were referring to, but I shared Yves' thread announcing the partnership with Zaisan Global.
Did it say? It didn't mention. I don't know if it mentioned Gartner.
Okay. Right on. Another tweet from Yves this week, while we're on the topic of uniting all the EOSIO chains, wishing happy birthday to Wax, which has been launched for 5 years now. And so the DAP Radar did a little thread on Wax showing kind of the all of the success stories that can be found on Wax. So congratulations to Wax and everyone building there. All right, we're coming around the last few topics for the day. Are we gonna not make it to 2 hours? Is that possible? No, something's gonna happen. Oh, actually, I forgot. Something I wanted to talk about was I don't know if Aaron is still around from Greymass, but they published their monthly update. And I know I was personally very happy to see that a bug with the Ledger Nanos was fixed, where there was an error with Ledger Nano connecting with the Anchor where you couldn't change your keys or something like that. And I know I had some issues with that lately, and so that's been fixed. So that was a great relief to me. It can kind of update some keys on a few accounts that I've been meaning to update. And I don't know, Aaron, if you're around, if you want to maybe share a few more of the highlights from your update, we could do that at this time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was probably one of the most long-standing and big things in the way. We've been going back and forth with the Ledger team for a while now. Something they updated ended up breaking that process where you couldn't change your keys to be no longer on the ledger. So people were kind of stuck there, myself and a number of people on our team included. So we went back and forth with them a decent amount over the months. It wasn't their highest priority because none of us honestly knew exactly what broke. But after like working on some test cases and whatnot, they did manage to isolate it, and they released some new firmware, and we didn't have to do anything, so that was great. And the ledger is now just fully functional again like it once was. So kudos to the Ledger team for getting that resolved and making it easy for our community just to have it working again. In terms of other updates, the rest of the update was largely focused on the maintenance we're kind of doing around Anchor and Unicove and the new features we're adding to those things, the progress we've made on them since our last update, which was about a month ago. And then we rounded it out with just kind of messages about our slow recruiting push.
we're working to grow the team. We've been slowly growing. We're up to 10 people now. We'd be a little higher, but we've had some people join and then leave, which is understandable. But yeah, we are really trying to grow so we can scale our operations and push out updates like this more often. Not necessarily the text itself, but the actual updates to the products. There's a lot to do. I haven't touched code in a couple weeks at this point, I don't think, besides maybe just answering questions. And it's it's all been planning out like what the future looks like for all of these products and improving the usability of EOSIO as a whole. We still have a long way to go. We get a lot of support tickets where people are really frustrated with how complicated things are at times. Um, and it's going to be a long and incremental road to improve that kind of stuff and really make this experience for users who want to use the blockchain or just applications that leverage the blockchain that much easier. So we're excited about where things are heading, and we're gonna, I think, try to make it more of a monthly cadence on these updates at this point. I know we've been a little loose on that before, where we'd skip a month or two and we'd kind of go dark. But we're ramping things up and gonna be providing these updates and hopefully better formats, maybe a new website, and try to do what a lot of you guys on this call do and communicate very well. If there's always one thing that's kind of a meme around Greymass, is that like we have no marketing and our communication has not been good. So we've taken steps to correct that, and we have some good people in position to help us do that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, you certainly communicate well when you join the Fireside,
I,
and
yeah, just joining the firesides and being available on Telegram and Discord, like in the text chats, I feel like you communicate very well. I get what you're saying, the type of communication that you're
Yeah.
referring to, but I think you personally do a very, very good job.
I appreciate that. And it's good to know that the time I do spend like actually being a part of the community does help with that communication. It's just so like it's so instantaneous of a form of communication. Like you got to be around to experience that. And for maybe the less involved people, they don't even know about some of the stuff we're doing. And it'd be nice if there was like a more permanent record of that stuff, as opposed to the void of Telegram where everything gets lost in the next hour.
I'll give you a little tip, Aaron. If
Oh,
you
yeah?
ever want to go on a 5-minute ramble, 10-minute ramble on any fireside chat, and you just start spitting fire of all this alpha that's happening at Greymass and with Anchor, we'll put it into a little bite-sized little video clip. We'll get the bees to swarm it. We'll get it out there and create a permanent record for you. That goes
Awesome.
for any project, anyone that wants to come here and share their information. That's kind of what we've been doing.
Build that machine, get that machine running.
exactly, and we're adding the podcast to that machine so that people who are mobile and audio only can get all these great updates as well.
It's awesome to see
Yes.
this kind of growth.
For sure.
I don't have
Is there
your
an
agenda.
opportunity? Is there a chance for me to just thank Aaron? I've been this is Lars, but I've been obviously working a lot on the zine, and I've been starting to have to pay for things, and I guess it's just been a while before I had to move EOS around on my phone. But for the first time, like a few weeks ago, or maybe a little over a month or two ago, I used a web wallet for the first time. And like, I didn't know that was like an option. I didn't know that was there. That's all I had on me though was my phone. And it just like launched straight into the web wallet. And I was just like amazed by like how seamless that went. Like one guy I'm gonna like kind of channel a little bit is Luke Stokes because he's really big on like usability, and like that was like one of the most seamless experiences I had. That like I feel like regular quote unquote regular people would even get that. And it just launched straight into the app and then straight back into the web wallet, and then like my funds ended up going where I needed them to go and passed it out and paid for some stuff, web hosting and all that. But I was like so inspired by it that like that piece of art that I've been working on with the ship of Theseus, I was like, I need to make a couple panels just dedicated to the anchor on this ship.
That's awesome. And thank you. I mean, we've had feedback on Unicove, which is the web wallet you're talking about kind of how uh, simple it is right now. Like, you go to Blocks or EOS Authority or any of these other tools, and they just like lay it on you thick, and there's everything you could ever want to do on there. But it comes at a cost of kind of confusion. And we have spent there was probably a 6-month stretch where we worked on that web wallet exclusively on that one feature being token transfers, trying to just nail it. And we're probably not even halfway done with what we'd like to do with that. Um, but it's awesome to hear that flow is just that simple and easy, because that's really the direction we want to go with this. Um, at some point, like, our dream is to add in a contact system in there, so that way instead of even typing account names, you just have accounts to select from for who you want to pay from, and you can establish your own network of contacts. We want to do the same thing with some of the other EOSIO features that you might want to use as just kind of, a normal user using it in day-to-day activities. Um, and really just drive that this is an application that if you've used online banking, you're going to be familiar with. And it kind of removes all of that complexity that you might experience elsewhere. Like, we have the power user tools, and now we need like the normal user tools. And that's the goal. And to be able to launch it seamlessly from within Anchor, like, eventually we want that to be a thing for any application. So you just have that experience. You have that launch point, you're in an application, you're automatically logged in, and you're just doing the thing that you want to do, and the technology is getting out of your way. So that's the vision. That's where we're heading, and just building all that tech along the way.
I think Unicove's awesome. I mean, just to butt in, like I tried it out, and the process to just put in my credit card and then be done was kind of where things need to go, because the ability to just do it and not have to worry about exchanges and learn what a hash is beautiful. So I think you did an awesome. You're doing an awesome job.
Thanks. And we'd like to eventually get to the point where you can do that to buy tokens and or network resources. Like, I think one of our long-term visions for EOS and EOSIO as a whole is that there should be able to be applications on these blockchains that don't use the token and don't require the user to use the token. Like, imagine a game that just wants to use the blockchain and distribute NFTs and do cool things like that. Um, Anchor, the way we've set it up, and Unicove in the way that we're trying to make the onboarding, we want to make that a reality. So that way it's less scary for new people who've never even experienced crypto. It's like they're used to microtransactions at this point. The app stores of the world have made everybody kind of used to that. So if we can lure people into the ecosystem that way with something they're familiar with, then they can optionally decide if they want to get into the crazy world of tokens. But yeah, let's make it accessible. Let's make it so it's something people are familiar with, but still leverages this awesome technology that we're all here for. I try not to talk forever, and then like we end up with these pauses, and I'm like, I could have kept talking, but
Chris, before you go, did you want to talk about the Helios Q2 report? I was just gonna get to you. Did we miss Chris? We missed him. He's gone already. Anyone else from Helios or someone maybe familiar with that report want to share their thoughts?
Yeah, so it's Waxer here. I'm communications manager for Helios. I also have to shoot, unfortunately, but hopefully we get a chance to talk about it next week, potentially. I have just put a link in the chat there for anyone who would like to have a look at the report. And I appreciate you bringing it up. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll bump it over to next week then. No problem.
So thank you very much.
All right. At this time, anyone else from the community want to jump in here, say hi, maybe ask a question, maybe share some news? maybe let everyone know that you're going to be posting a Pomelo Grant. Let's not go into to some deep Pomelo pitch sessions, but I'd love to know if some of you in here are planning on applying for season 3 or whatever else you guys want to talk about. EOS, we've got another half hour potentially to hang out here.
I'd like to add my support for Aaron and the wallet and all that he's doing there. Emphasize how important that is, even relative to all the great marketing that's happening. And we're all thankful for that marketing because it's been missing for so long. And I don't want to dismiss it in any way. But the relative importance of marketing at this particular stage to the actual substantive development of a wallet, of a onboarding experience, of being able to store your keys safely and easily, being able to make your first purchase easily. That is magnitudes more important than any marketing now, because it's the point of why people would come to our chain. So I haven't inquired recently what Aaron's budget is or what his needs are. Last I checked, he needed 1 developer. I don't know if he's filled that or not. But whatever he needs, it seems like that should be at the very top of what we're doing. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
And I guess to add to that comment, I've wavered back and forth on the importance of marketing in phases like this, and I agree with you a lot of the times in that there's a huge risk to do marketing that if the people you market to join in and then just have a crappy experience, you're never going to get them to come back. So it's a matter of making sure the experience is good before you actually like really push hard on marketing. But that's not to say that marketing shouldn't occur. It's this fine line to walk that for years and years, even from when I was deeply involved in the Steam community, I sort of fought against along the same lines of what you were just saying. But I've come to learn it's very nuanced, and marketing all along the way is probably good, but it's just a risk. You might lose some people if they bite the marketing and then they have a terrible experience.
I fully understand your point, but I think that it's if you market, you're going to get 1,000 people, and maybe 50 will. And if there's something bad, then 50 will join. If you don't market, 0 will join.
It's true,
right? So you have to do that continuous marketing, because the people that you market to now won't be there when you market in the future. It's going to be different people. It's always going to be different people.
That's a good point. It's the effectiveness of the marketing that gets impacted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely marry it with an excellent product,
Yeah.
of course. But not doing marketing is also, it's a killer.
One of the things we do at Tipit for marketing that I think works pretty well is we try and make things so that the people who we're marketing to tell their friends about it. And I think like what you're talking about, Aaron, with like the user experience, that's kind of where that goes. Is if they have a good experience, it's easy to sign up for EOS and they can do cool stuff right away. That's all you need, right? Because then they tell their friend and their friend tells their people at school or whatever. I think that's a really good model that, that's where we try and go with it.
That's probably an excellent approach, especially if the person introducing them helps them along the way for maybe some of the more confusing points. It's more of a grassroots thing, way to grow, and probably a healthy way to do it. And hopefully we can collect feedback from that. Be like, I've had to tell every single person I've invited that this is a hurdle they need to cross. And like, as long as we can raise those things up, then maybe we can improve them as well.
Not really marketing, but it's kind of related. Steph, I don't know if you talked about this in the first 15 minutes when I wasn't here, but we finally slayed the beast of CoinMarketCap. We finally have taken ownership of the EOS CoinMarketCap page. I was gonna wait until my new text got approved for the description text, which is just terrible. But all of the new links are up there. So if you go to CoinMarketCap now, it points to the ENF Twitter, it points to the Discord, it points to the new GitHub repo, all of the things that we've wanted for a really long time, and it's already a huge impact. So on EOSnetwork.com, for example, our largest source of traffic over the last week since this has happened is by far CoinMarketCap. So that just tells me that for the longest time, all of this traffic was just going to EOS.io and hitting a wall. Insane amount of traffic. Like I thought when when EOS support helped us get CoinGecko, that was a great source of traffic, but CoinMarketCap is just blowing it away. And now with the Discord link as like the chat link, when you click the link for chat, in the last, I forget how many days it was, if it was 7 days or 14 days, but we've had like 800 new members join the Discord channel, for example. On Twitter, I'm getting tagged now by all of these like bots because they just use the CoinMarketCap API to tag coins because it just automates their messaging, like not spammy like posts, but just posts that are like EOS and then tag the account associated with it. So that's coming from the Coinbase API and the CoinMarketCap API. And the other thing that's nice about finally taking the ownership of the page on CoinMarketCap is that it's kind of like the source of truth for a lot of other sites within like the blockchain space. So for example, like Masori Research, they pull all of their data from CoinMarketCap. Blockfolio pulls all of their data from CoinMarketCap. Like so many different sites do this. And we finally, after like months of back and forth and them asking stupid questions and wanting things that just weren't reasonable, like, could you have the original team email us and let us know that you guys are in control now? It's like, no, that's not going to happen. But we finally got that. So we're already starting to see the fruits of it. And within the next day or hopefully even less, the description will finally be gone where it's like, EOS is centralized and Block One and Dan Lermer and Brendan Bloomer and this and that. So that's all going to finally change. So finally, you guys have no idea how, you probably do, but how frustrating that's been to finally get that.
That's awesome. Good job.
Yeah, you poked the bear enough times. They finally gave in, and I'm just seeing people come into the chats and on Twitter and stuff and just saying like, why is the Twitter account dead? Because they're looking at the EOSIO Twitter that hasn't made a single message since December 1st. It's just been a point of frustration, as I'm sure all of you guys can understand.
Yeah, so I did mention this at the top of the show, but didn't do it justice. So I'm happy for you to share that great news with everyone at this time.
Nice.
Yeah, baby.
You know what's really cool about this? What's really cool about this is now that it's in community control, there's no kind of top level discretion other than like talking amongst the community and knowing what's going to help the community instead of more like centralized decisions like it was, which is awesome. So you can essentially kind of steer people to where EOS is going based on like all this community activity and what's going to help it, which is great.
Totally.
Yeah, there's
and
a
we're
lot
not,
we
we're
could
not
do
going to
with
let
it.
this chat become as crazy as the Telegram chat has been in the past. So we already have a team of mods here that have been doing a good job kind of keep an eye out on the server. There hasn't been actually much trolling or many posts to delete. But the team is on standby, and so we're ready for an influx of new people in the server. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, we've already seen a lot of new members join. They haven't necessarily joined the chat yet, but I'm sure that's going to come. And So yeah, so just be aware of that, everyone, and welcome these new people to our community when they find themselves to the general chat or to this voice chat. And so I have seen a few new names in this chat today. If you guys are new to the community, definitely welcome you guys to jump on the mic here and say hi to everyone.
I'm gonna put someone on the spot. I don't know if he's. I see him in here. Steven Diesel, you here?
Hey guys, I'm here. How's it going?
Good, man. So we talked about the CMO, but we have a bunch of other people who have started that are not as public facing, and I see you in all of the group chats, like really herding all of the cats and bringing a lot of organization to the chaos. And I just kind of wanted to give you an opportunity to maybe introduce yourself to the rest of the community and let them know the functions you're providing to the EOS community and to the ENF.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the call out. So, I guess, hey everybody. My name's Steven Diesel. I've been part of the ENF for probably about 2 months now. I joined as a lead product manager, and what I'll be primarily overseeing is the core team's backlog. So the primary repos that you guys work with, being Mandel, CDT, also contracts. So really happy to take in any feedback that people have as we move along, but a lot of our objectives moving forward is just reducing friction wherever possible to deliver the best user experience, building on anything related to EOSIO. So I'm really excited to be joining the ranks. Some of you guys might have seen my name in the past, having been part of Voice and Block One in the past, but really happy to be part of this project. Really just excited to be back in the ecosystem working around this. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me directly if you ever have any questions about what we're up to. And feel free to let us know if you have any feedback on anything that you see coming out. I'll also be taking care of things like the roadmap and really starting to address some of those key user journeys that we need to tackle as we make the experience better. So yeah, thanks for the shout out, and really excited to be here.
Yeah, baby!
Nice one, Patrick. Nice one. Pitching in for my soundboard when I'm too slow. I like it.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
I'd like to shout out to EOS OGs who may remember me from years ago. I want to say I'm back. I'm in a new role now. I'm the blockchain evangelist. And with the pandemic fading away, I'm going to start being out on tour again. And I look forward to seeing all of you in Toronto. I'm really jazzed. It sounds like going to be like the old Block Producer Summits.
Really happy to hear your voice, Phil.
Yeah, likewise.
Phil is a OG.
Wow.
I'm pumped to see you on the call.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I was part of the original development team that
I love
made
you, man.
EOS. And I'm not doing much engineering right now, but hopefully I'll get back into it soon. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Phil. You have made a beautiful course on the smart contract on OCI. I was seeing that. Fantastic. Love you, man.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, that's great, and thanks for joining us today. And of course, thanks for everything you've done for EOS in the past, and looking forward to hearing more about you and your work for EOS in the future.
Absolutely.
I was referring to Phil Meunier, not Phil Collins. Okay.
Nice one, Patrick. Veronica sharing some breaking news in the crypto space. Tesla officially paper handers, and they sold 75% of their Bitcoin in Q2. So they sold a while back. The news broke, and now everyone's selling right now. Oh, crypto.
Not gonna make it.
Not gonna make it. And then
Minecraft banned NFTs also today.
Yeah, that was crazy to hear. The guys at Uplift must be fucking having a bad day today. It sucks for them. Hopefully they'll find a way around that ban. Or yeah, I didn't read the details. I didn't read the justification for it. I imagine it's pretty boilerplate stuff. Just gamers that don't really understand NFTs and kind of just traumatized from microtransactions in the past, and they're just kind of avoiding any type of innovation. But in my opinion, uh, gaming companies will come around to NFTs. It just may take a little bit longer for the traditional ones to embrace it as hard as more blockchain native gaming companies have done. In case you guys are wondering, Michael Saylor is not selling his Bitcoin. He's actually trolling Elon by saying if you sell 75% of your Bitcoin, you'll only have 25% of your Bitcoin left. Nice tweet from Michael. Yeah,
Hey everyone.
Hi.
Just a question for Zack. If you can answer it. Regarding the rebranding, are we changing the names as EOS, not in the trading, and also the
EOSIO. EOSIO is being rebranded. It's essentially been rebranded. It's just having everyone in the coalition agree to the visual branding. So the name's decided. It's been decided. It's really just a lot of the visuals that there's some disagreement on. A lot of back and forth. So that's the reason for kind of like the delays. And at the end of the day, there's I know we all want to have something new and shiny, but this is a big decision on getting alignment with the visuals and how it fits into the bigger picture. And one of the other things is the ENF is we have the coalition, but the ENF has been driving it from the start, from a funding standpoint, from a coordination standpoint, from the ones who set the table for everyone to join at the beginning. And we just had our CMO start 2 weeks ago. So bringing her in towards the end of the rebrand experience brought someone with 25 years of global marketing experience into the mix, who essentially asked to slow down a little bit so that we could reassess things and roll it out properly. So that's why it didn't get released 2 weeks ago or something. But it's still in the works. There will be a rollout plan. It'll have its own website, social media, blog, but it won't have its own organization for a while. So it'll essentially just be operated by the coalition. Everyone will be kind of pitching in. The biggest difference we'll see with EOS and EOSIO is that it will no longer be a hidden aspect of all of these other coalition projects. So if you go through the marketing materials of Wax, Talos, UX Network, you'd have to look pretty hard to find EOSIO. Obviously, if you look at the code base, you'll see EOSIO mentioned a bunch, and that's really not going to change completely because EOSIO is kind of baked into a lot of the contracts and things like that. So it's always going to be in the DNA. But as far as the public facing name, it'll be a new name, new brand that everyone will really rally behind. And going back to the global conference strategy, that's where it's also really important because now we'll be able to do satellite events in partnership with these other chains under the banner of the new EOSIO. So I don't really have an update except that it's coming, and that there's some disagreements on typeface and I think it's about 50-50 split on the logo itself, but the typeface needs redone and we're in the final phases, but just making sure everything is done right. But it's not EOS. So EOS is still EOS. And there's when Dan was first working with the ENF, when Fractally was just kind of an idea, there was, at that point, it was just basically Yves and I, maybe Brandon was on. And it was still very early, and we were more, I guess, gung ho about rebranding everything, rebranding EOS, because it was fresh off the breakup with Block One, and we were left with no ownership of any assets. We didn't really own our own name, our own logo, our own domain, and now we're in a whole different spot where we do have ownership of a lot of things. We have on web, socials, CoinMarketCap, and the other thing we noted, like that's important, is like name recognition is important, and people know the name EOS. And the most prime example of that is the Vitalik Ethereum on steroids thing, tweet or whatever he did a couple of weeks ago. Like that happened because EOS has brand recognition. And what I'm expecting to see at a lot of these conferences is that it's going to surprise people who haven't been paying attention. They're going to see EOS and they're going to remember it, and they're going to be like, EOS. Like, what the hell are they up to? I haven't heard their name in years. So it is valuable. If we are to decide to rebrand EOS, it wouldn't be this year. So just to set everyone's expectations, it's not that it's off the table. It's just that it makes, like, you've seen on Twitter, the new EOS. Like, you could rebirth EOS without renaming EOS. The EOS network is highly name recognized. We're working really hard to rebuild the reputation. So I would say it's kind of like a refresh and a rebirth rather than a rebrand for EOS at the moment. And to just set your expectations that the rebrand is for EOSIO. It'll have a completely new name, completely new logo, and all of the sister chains will rally behind it with us. But EOS itself will remain EOS for the foreseeable future.
I'm glad it is like this way. Like I like EOS with the scarf on its face. Like it is our history. We don't want to band it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's just it's complicated too. Like Polygon, when Matic Network rebranded to Polygon Network, it was a smoother transition for them because they owned they basically had full control of it. There wasn't like this weird disassociation of assets and IP like we have. And the other thing is it's next to impossible to change a token ticker at this point. So even if you wanted to rebrand the EOS network, you would still have the EOS token, the EOS token ticker. And that's why Matic's a really good example of it, because they're Polygon network, but they're still powered by the Matic token. And the reason's because it's near impossible to get every single exchange to change the tickers. The other thing is that EOS is hard-coded, like the ticker itself is hard-coded in certain places in the system contracts and in dApps themselves. So you'd be kind of messing that up. And then the other complication with rebranding EOS is it's not just like the logo and the name, but like the identity. Like how many block producers have the name EOS in their name, or their own logos have
EOS
some
Nation, we're gonna have to
variation?
change our name if
Yeah, so it's like, I think we've done a really good job at shifting the narrative. We're not like across the finish line by any means, but there's been a clear shift, and we'll get a lot of feedback firsthand with like this conference strategy, like boots on the ground, meeting face to face, getting feedback. And after months of that, like maybe like we could talk about it, but I don't think that it makes sense, because it's like it is our DNA, it is our history, but like it's better to be known than being unknown. And I think we have a strong story, and like there's it's very complicated. So it's easier to just turn the page on the reputation that EOS has had because of the relationship with Block One and because of the ICO, which we had no control over. It's easier to just makes more sense to overcome that than to start from fresh and have nobody know your name, and also kind of like you mess things up for a lot of other entities. Not all of the block producers, many of the block producers, many of the dApps, many of the tools. So it's not going to happen as of right now to not expect EOS to rebrand. Like the new EOS is the new EOS. The old EOS is dead. But as far as a name, I don't expect that. So just to clear any confusion, EOSIO is being rebranded. EOS is not.
Sweet deal. So basically, at the software level, that's what's getting rebranded, and then, so is the chestahedron going to still be paired with EOS?
Yeah. So that's kind of complicated a little bit because the original chestahedron, which they used during the ICO, that is not copyrightable because it's a geometric shape. It's like trying to copyright a circle or a triangle. You can't do it. But the modernized logo, like the one with less lines in it, that Block One started using in like 2019 maybe, that one is trademarked. So I try to not use it as much as possible. Sometimes I still do because I do like their logo better than the chestahedron. But you'll notice all of the EOS channels, EOS support did a really good job with it. They went and updated all of the logos, for example, to the original chestahedron shape because that one's not copyrighted. So the logo, it's not being changed at the moment. And yeah, so it's still basically the same because once again, it comes down to look at all the logos of all the other businesses within EOS. How many of them have like some form of a chestahedron within their own branding that it doesn't really make sense to change that. And the other thing is education. So educating the market. We already are going to have our hands full on educating the market on what the new EOSIO is. So we need to kind of educate the market on that before confusing them any further by rebranding like EOS or even like changing its visual components too quickly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried about that because like you said, it's tied to our history and the sacred geometry part too. I can't get over that. Like it really defines who we are as a community. Like our heart, the resilience to go through what we went through with in the past, 4 years or so. It truly defines that and because it's sacred geometry, it's crazy to me. It's unreal and it's an amazing story and it's a beautiful thing.
I think also, I mean, the fact that the functionality and like making the onboarding easier and the whole experience in EOS it's kind of outweighs the branding, if you know what I mean. Like it might as well be a little picture of a wallaby, but if their experience is awesome, who cares? You know what I mean? Like I think that providing functionality for the system and for users and making a community out of it, like definitely a chestahedron makes sense, but I think that where it's going is definitely more important than branding anyways.
Yeah, man.
Well, the good news is we've got a very, very talented and experienced chief marketing officer, and everything's in good hands. It's just there's a lot on her plate stepping into this role, and rebranding EOS is not anywhere, and it's not even anywhere to be seen. There's so much else going on that's taking a precedence and priority over that.
That's a beautiful day to hear that. Shout out to Zack.
All right, last chance to jump in here before we wrap it up.
The longest man.
Longest man in EOS. Okay, Patrick.
Sorry for my my English. Yeah, that's a poor English. Yeah, I would say shout out to Zack to be the best advocate that we have since the beginning on EOS. Voila! Yeah, baby!
Definitely agree with that. All right, so on that note, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks everyone for joining once again. It's been a blast hanging out with everyone. Have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, whatever time you're watching this. And until next week, let's go EOS.
Go EOS.
See you guys.
Go
Go EOS.
Go
Go,
EOS.
go, go.